probably take him.
Hey, what's up? Back again with another video. All right, for our review, we're going to call this part two. Of course, you know, test review part two. And I just separated it because I wanted to include a shorter video that you can break apart and study. You know, because I know you're a short attention span. So, hey, let's go ahead and get started. And I really hope this helps. All right, so right here we're going to pick this video off on number 11. In number 11, we're going to solve each radical equation algebraically and then check for extraneous solutions. So to start this thing off, here's what we're going to do. Hold on, there we go. Let's get a little zoomed in. All right, first of all, step one is always isolate the radical. How do we isolate the radical here? Well, we're going to subtract 8 on both sides. So we end up with the square root of x plus 4 equal to 16 minus 8 is going to be 8. Now we need to raise both sides to a power equal to the index being 2. Since this is a square root, we're going to square both sides. Reason being, the square root and that exponent is going to cancel. So I'll have x plus 4 remaining on the left, and on the right, 8 squared is 64. And then we solve for x, so I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides, and we get x equals 60. Now, I want to check for extraneous solutions, so I just check it real quick. I take 60 and plug it back into this equation. So we end up with 60 plus 4 plus 8 equals 16. Now let's check and see if that's true. 60 plus 4 is 64. And 64, the square root of 64 is 8. And sure enough, 8 plus 8 is 16, which equals 16. That checks out. So the solution right here holds true, x equals 60. All right, right here for this problem, the first thing we're going to do is isolate the radical. All right, so I'm going to divide both sides by -2. All right. And doing so, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to get rid of that. In doing so, we end up with the cube root of 5x minus 5 equal to positive 5. And then we need to raise both sides to the equal to the index, so the cube root and the cube, that would cancel, and we're left with 5x minus 5. And on the right, we have 125. And lastly, we're going to solve for x. And by doing so, we're going to add 5 on both sides. All right. So that gives us 5x equal to 130. And then 130 divided by 5 is going to be 26. All right, 26. And then, of course, we need to check it. So if I take the original problem and plug in 5 times 26 minus 5, should equal 5. Well, 26 times 5 is 130. Oh, this is the cube root, by the way. And then 130 minus 5 is equal to 125. Cube root, I keep forgetting my 3 right there. The cube root of 125 is 5. Oops, this is -10 the whole time. Why am I writing? Look at that. Sorry, guys. Let me go back and make sure I clean this up. This, you gotta look at the original problem. See, I will look right here. I forgot that's not the original. The original was -10. So don't make that mistake, right? -10. -10. Anyway, that's 5, and that should equal -10. And doing so, -2 times 5 is -10, which does indeed equal -10. So 26 is the answer. Now let's look at the next example. Right here. right here, you got to isolate the radical where there's nothing to isolate. So we're going to go ahead and square both sides. But when you square this left guy, square everything on the left. So that's going to be 4x squared. 2 squared is 4, and x raised to the power of 2 is x squared. And on the right, the square root and the square cancel, so we're left with 4x plus 3. Now what I want to do is move everything to the side where the 4x squared is. So my quadratic minus 4x minus 3 equals 0. All right, everything is on one side. Now, with that, I want to actually factor this, okay? Factoring this, let's see, 2x minus 3, no. Yeah, 2x minus 3 and 2x plus 1. All right, so that's what you get when you factor this. Let me see, 2x squared plus 2x minus 6x, which is negative 4 minus 3. Yep, that's what you get. And when you set each one of those equal to 0, 2x minus 3 equals 0, you're going to add 3. So you get 2x equals 3, and then divide by 2, so you get x equals 3 halves. All right. And then this one, 2x plus 1 equals 0. You subtract 1, and you get 2x equals negative 1, and then divide by 2, so x equals negative 1 half. Well, one of these we need to check, all right? And I can go ahead and tell you one of them are not right. And how you can check with your calculator is if you put 1 on one side of the calculator and y1, 2x, and then on the other side you put the square root of 4x plus 3 on the other side and graph them, you'll see the intersection. All right, and if you remember, you can always do second, trace, and intersect. And doing so, first curve, second curve, and guess, you'll get 1.5. At 1.5, it says x equals 1.5, but 1.5 is 3 halves. So this is the real answer, x equals 3 halves, all right? X equals 1 half, that's not a solution, all right? That's the extraneous case right there, okay? Now, let's flip over to the back. For this one, the thing to note is they're both cubed already. So I'm going to take the cube, they're both cube roots. I'm going to cube both sides. So I end up with 6x minus 5 equal to 2x minus 15. And now I just solve for x. I'm going to add 15 on both sides. All right, negative 5 plus 15, we have 6x plus 10 equals 2x. And then I'm going to subtract 6x on both sides. So we have 10x equal to negative 4x. And then once I divide by, oh, why I put 10x? That's just 10. Sorry, guys, 10. And then I'm going to divide by negative 4. So we have x equals negative 10 over 4, or you could say negative 5 halves. All right, negative 5 halves. Again, you want to check yourself. So doing so, all right, you got, well, check yourself, make sure you're right. All right, you do that. All right, moving right along. Okay, again, they're both cubic, all right, on both sides of the equation, the cube root. So I'm going to cube both sides again. All right, now when you cube this right side, you need to cube everything, the 6 included. All right. So when you do 6 cubed, you get 216 times x plus 8. Don't forget, guys, it's 6 times its radical. So when you cube it, it goes away. It's 6 times, well, it's 216. Excuse me, 216 times x plus 1. And on the right, when that cancels, you're left with 2x minus 7. So now we're going to distribute this 216. And that gives us 1,728. And then we're going to solve for x. So let's see here. Subtract 2 on both sides. So that's 214x. And then I'm going to subtract 1,728 on both sides. And that gives us negative 1,735. And then we're just going to divide both sides by 214. we get x equals, let's see here. Man, that's it. 1735 over 214. Or if you were to approximate it, you get like negative 8.11. All right. Okay. Now moving along. Last one of this type problem. All right, they're both square roots, so I'm going to square both sides. And I have 5x minus 6 equal to 3x plus 4. All right, again, the radical and the exponent cancel out. So I'm going to go minus 3x on both sides. 5 minus 3, all right, is going to be 2x. And then I'm going to add 6 on both sides. 4 plus 6 is 10. Then divide by 2 and you get x is 5. All right, x is 5. Make sure you check those. All three of those, you need to check those. Well, that's on you, okay? Now, moving along. Let's see, clear that, and then let's zoom out so I can read the whole word problem. For this word problem, the speed, hold on, let's move this over. Didn't mean to do that either. Having a lot of technical issues right now. All right, here we go. The speed in miles per hour that a car is traveling when it goes into a skid can be estimated by the formula S equals the square root of 30 FD, where F is the friction, the coefficient of friction, and D is the length of the skid marks in feet. If the coefficient of friction is 0.7 and the car is traveling 50 miles per hour when it goes into a skid, how long is the skid mark, or how long would the skid mark be? So basically, we're looking for S because we know. Actually, no, we're looking for the distance. Is how long? I'm tripping. How long? So we're looking for D. So S equals the square root of 30 times FD. Well, if we look at it, we know what F is, and we know what the speed is. Okay, so we have 50 equals the square root of 30 times 0.7 times D. So we got to find D. So the first thing we need to do is square both sides because I need to get rid of that radical. I can't solve for D until this radical is gone. So 50 squared is going to be 25. 30.7 times D. And now I can multiply 30 times 0.7, which is 21. All right, so I have 2,500 equals 21D. And now I just divide both sides by 21. And I get D being 119.05 feet. All right, because D is in feet, so there we go right there, okay? And then lastly, describe the transformation applied to this cube root of x in order to attain this. Cool beans. Well, this negative. All right, that negative tells me, actually I'm going to type that because I like the way it looks when it's typed. Oh, actually, you know what I'm going to do before I even type it? Let's distribute this negative 1/2. So doing so, we have negative 4 times the cube root of negative 1/2 x. And then we're going to multiply that to negative 3, so that gives us negative 3/2. Actually, positive 3/2 because negative times negative is positive. And then outside we have plus 6, all right, outside the radical. Here, I'm going to move that over because I don't want that to be confused. So plus 3/2 plus 6. I like it really outside. Now, let's type up this transformation. The negative out front, this negative right here, tells me reflect the x-axis. All right. And then that 4 right there, excuse me, says a vertical stretch of 4. Then this negative 1/2, well, the negative right there, negative, says reflect the y-axis. And then that 1/2 tells me horizontal stretch, forgot my E, by 2. Remember, you use the reciprocal right here, just like we did in the other video, so horizontal stretch by 2. And then that plus 3/2 tells me left by 3/2. And finally, up 6. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. All right, 6 transformations. So, man, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's the video, guys. So again, I'm glad I was able to keep both videos under 20 minutes, and I really hope this helps you prepare for your test on Friday. So I will catch you later.